I am Jolusolita, second year student BSBA Block B, and I am reporting Chapter 5 Interpretation of Contracts. Complementary contracts construed together, doctrine or no segregation principle. According to this principle, a necessary contract must be read in this entirely and together with the principal agreement. This principle is used in showing contractual stipulation in order to arrive at determining certain stipulation cannot be segregated and then made to control. This non-segregation principle is based on Article 1374 of the Civil Code, which we quote, Article 1374. The various stipulation of the contract shall be interpreted together, attributing of the double ones that sense which may result from all of them taken jointly. Rationally, the reason for these rules is that it must be presumed that the parties had intended an effective act and not one of that is impracticable or illusory. Article 1376. The usage or custom of the place shall be borne in mind in the interpretation of the ambiguities of a contract and shall fill the omission of stipulation which are ordinarily established. Would by usage or customs. The submissions by an individual seller to the buyer of the following papers complete of sale real estate. Owner's duplicate copy of torrents. Signed deed of absolute sale, tax declaration, and latest realty tax receipt. The buyer can retain the amount for the capital gain tax and pay it upon authority of the seller, or the seller can pay the tax depending on the agreement of the parties. Article 1377. The interpretation of obscure words or stipulation in a contract shall not favor the party who caused the obscurity problem. The Incorporated is engaged in the encoding data conversion business. It employs encoder, indexers, formatters, programmers, quality staff, and others to maintain its business and do the job orders to its client. X and Y are employed as formatters by Z Incorporated. They work from March 1997 until their expiration on March 3, 1998. Thereafter, X and Y filed a complaint for legal dismissal against Z Incorporated. Z Incorporated contends that X and Y employment contracts expired for these were only for a fixed period of 1 year. Are the alleged fixed-term employment contracts entered into by Z Incorporated and X and Y valid? Answer. The pertinent portion of the present employment contracts in dispute reads as follows. Term duration. The employer hereby employs, engage, and hires the employee, and the employer hereby accepts such appointment as a formatter effective March 4, 1997 to March 3, 1998, a period of 1 year. Termination. This contract shall automatically terminate on March 1998 without need of notice or demand. The employee acknowledged that the employer entered into this contract upon his express representation that he or she is qualified and possesses the skills necessary and desirable for the position indicated herein. Thus, the employer is hereby granted the right to pre-terminate this contract within the first 3 months of its duration upon failure of the employee to meet and pass the qualification jobs and the standards set by the employer and made known to the employee prior to execution hereof. Failure of the employer to exercise its rights and hereunder shall be without prejudice to the automatic termination of the employee's employment upon the expiration of this contract or cancellation thereof for the other provided herein and by law. Article 1378. When it is absolutely impossible to settle doubts by the rules established in the preceding articles, and the doubts refers to the incidental circumstances of the gratuitous contract, the least transmission of rights and interest shall prevail. If the contract is onerous, the doubts shall be settled in favor of the greatest reciprocity of interest. If the doubts are cast upon the principal object of the contract in such a way that it cannot be known what may have been the intention or will of the parties, the contract shall be null and void. In the event of doubt as to the nature and conditions of a contract that cannot be decided by the language of its documents setting forth such agreement and justice, it must be presumed that the debtor assumed the lesser obligation and the liability contracted is that which permits the greatest reciprocity of the interests and rights. It is more sound that the agreement in question be considered as a contract of lease rather than a sale because such contract involves a lesser transmission of the right and interest. With X not surrendering all rights to the property but simply conferring upon Y as tenant the right to possess the property and X name there existing between the parties a greater reciprocity of rights and obligation. By executing the least exponential burden of continuing with the amortization of the subject, property would be eased without him having to give up the property. Moreover, judging from the subsequent act of the contracting parties, it is evident that the intention of the parties was to enter into a contract of lease. True or false? Multiple choice.